Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wembul maraj. Na chitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Marek muk muk marakan wambul maraj. Nachitong nunga. Ano bilang juga. Gondi bengo darawal mure. Yana nuga no he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilen nuga no he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan bubang junga he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan kubing yari he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan nachamuma he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan najangdara he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan darwa murid he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan nugana he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan nugana he ane, he ane, he ane. Yanga bilan nugana he ane, he ane, he ane. Ira bajana janggar mirawa minga no cetong nunga. Hari.
Just like to call up Auntie Sharon Robertson for the welcome to country.
Thank you, my brothers, elders, students, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sherilyn Robinson. I'm known throughout the community as Auntie Shaz. I'm so excited to be here today and to share with you all your higher education journey. Congratulations to all that have graduated. I am so proud of each and every one of you. As you take your journey forward, stand tall and be proud of what you have achieved. For I stand tall and proud today because this is a very special day for Auntie and Granny, because my granddaughter, Kiara, is graduating on this very day. Chokes me up. Yolanga, welcome. Come gather on our land. We gather here today on this special place on country, land of my ancestors, who have been the traditional custodians since the dream time, the Altaringa, the past, the present and the future. They have nurtured and protected this land for thousands and thousands of years. They walked it, they worked it, they hunted and gathered on it, thus allowing all of us here to bring our little ones up, teach them to know the ways of the old ones that have passed. For it is the children now and of the future that will nurture and protect Mother Earth so she can continue to look after all of us. As we gather here today, let's all remember our history, the struggles, the pain and suffering, the stolen generation, the children that were taken, many still trying to find their families and their way back home. Welcome to the land of the Dharawal people, the Wadi, the Alauri and others that visit this country and make it their home. Dharawal land that extends from Greater Sydney in the north to Picton in the west and south to the Shoalhaven River, taking in Moss Vale, Kangaroo Valley and the Illawarra. Some clan and subgroups of the Dharawal are Gerinja, Shoalhaven Heads, Bong Bong, Mittagong, Barrel, Murra, Kiama, Mullet, Alauri, Wadi, Thura, Leach, Gurawal, La Perouse, Humpback Whale and Bidjigal. Coastal groups were keen fishermen and women. Men fished with spears, while the women used nets, and it was not uncommon to travel the coastline in search for shellfish, fish, waterfowl, coastal berries. Evidence of our movements and occupation along the coast can be seen at our midden sites throughout the district. Major occupation sites are Stanwell Park, Sandon Point, Bellambi Lagoon, Belmore Basin, Hill 60, Primby, Windang, the perimeters of Lake Illawarra, Shell Harbour, Bass Point, Killalea, Mystics, Minamurra, Kiama, Wary Beach in the lagoon, Blackhead, Crooked River and 7 Mile Beach. Our land is rich in minerals and water resources, both fresh and salt. It also has a vast array of edible flora and fauna. The coal from our land is mined and is used to produce power. Some of our mountains have been turned into rock quarries. Many of these quarries are within Dharawal country. Our waterways have been dammed to supply the necessary water. In amongst this country and all over Dharawal land, there is a lot of evidence that proves our people have lived and have enjoyed the fruits of our land for thousands and thousands of years. Modern research and science acknowledge that we are the oldest living culture on this planet. We have scarred the earth with our engravings and our ceremonial areas, the corroboree grounds. We decorated the caves with our knowledge of Mother Earth and the ancestral beings that created her. Our signatures are in the land, not just in our DNA. We know the sacred men and women's areas. We know that when the sallywattle blossoms, the lobster are in abundance. Or when the bottle brush blossoms, the mullet are running. How do we know this? Why do we know this? Because it is our nature. Mother Earth is our nature. I ask you all to be proud of country. Look after Mother Earth, and in return, she will look after all of us. We welcome you to our country with respect, and we ask you all to respect our country and our values as we have done since the Altaringa. Again, I say Yulunga, welcome, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Shaz, for sharing history, for your wise words about the circle of life, for your message about looking after Mother Earth and nature. Never has that message been more urgent and important. And thank you for welcoming us all to country. Welcome everyone. My name is Professor Theo Farrell. I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice President for Academic and Student Life at the University of Wollongong. And I'm thrilled to be your Master of Ceremonies for this morning's ceremony. I would like to acknowledge our Indigenous Strategy Unit and our local Aboriginal community. And here I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Aboriginal elders and knowledge holders who guided our academic procession in this morning. The Aboriginal Community and Indigenous Strategies Unit's leadership has brought to life a vision for an inclusive, reconciled and united Australia through this graduation ceremony where we recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the knowledge holders of country. So thank you to everyone here for joining us today on this very special occasion. Before we begin proceedings, can I please remind people to make sure your mobile phones are turned to silent. You won't be surprised to hear that the university is extremely proud of our graduates, and we're beyond thrilled to be all here today to celebrate in person your achievements. We also congratulate family and friends who have supported our graduates on their learning journey. We know our graduates have been through a lot. They have endured the many aspects of the COVID pandemic, and they have triumphed. Also, we are here today to congratulate the graduates of 2019, 2020, and 2021. It's fantastic to have 3 years of cohorts here to celebrate graduation. We acknowledge all of our graduates' dedication and commitment to their goals and to their aspirations to make our community and our world a better place. So I'd like to invite everyone please to join me in congratulating our graduates. Can I ask everyone now please to stand for an instrumental version of the national anthem? Please be seated. I would now like to introduce the Vice-Chancellor and President, one of the university's highest officials, Professor Patricia Davidson, to give the congratulatory address.
Thank you so much, Professor Farrell. Graduate, family and friends, welcome to this graduation ceremony. As Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Wollongong, it's my exceptional honour to be here with you today. It's truly one of the highlights of my role and my colleagues here with me to witness students celebrate this great milestone. I'd like to thank the Wollongong Centre and members of our Aboriginal community for the leading of our procession today. The smoking ceremony was incredibly moving and makes these events so very special. I pay my respects to elders past, present, and acknowledge their continued spiritual and cultural connection to the lands of which the University of Wollongong campuses are located. As part of today's celebration, we are focusing on the themes of the artwork, cultural healing, by artists such as Auntie Lorraine Brown and Auntie Narelle Thomas from the Kumadichi United Aboriginal Corporation. You will see the artwork all around you on your graduation booklets and as part of the stage design and in various other contexts. The artwork, as I am told, depicts bush tucker, ocean tucker, and medicinal plants and flowers of dreaming stories. All of these things play a role in this health and well-being of individual people, including the stories that explain how things came to be and why we exist. It is believed that this is where knowledge, strength, and a reason why came from. We hope to continue learning from and building a deeper understanding of this cultural wisdom. Looking out to this marvellous sea of gowns, I'd like to begin by congratulating each and every one of our graduating students here today. On behalf of our staff, the Chancellor, the University of Council, and the whole University of Wollongong community. This is the reason we do what we do. Indeed, it's a special occasion for all of us, friends, family, teachers, mentors, but it is especially significant for you, our graduates. Today's events are the culmination of years of hard work, personal sacrifice and commitment, particularly at this time in history. I hope you feel a deep sense of pride and will take this moment to reflect on your achievements and how far you have come. As a cohort, you share a unique experience whereby your students were disrupted by an extremely challenging time in the history of the world. Much changed during this period, from our ability to cross domestic and international borders, access supply chains for critical products and services, and also we've seen the exponential rise of technology dependence and a general change in the way we did simple things, such as how we learnt and taught. But I can see in you today the strength and determination you have shown to get here. This will stay with you and hold you in good stead for many years to come. This ceremony here today is public recognition of your commitment and achievement. It has been our absolute pleasure and privilege to have witnessed and played an integral role in your journey. I hope you'll soak up every minute of these celebrations, remembering that this is not a conclusion. Indeed, this is a beginning. And as an individual, I hope you'll capture these feelings of pride, energy, and passion and take them with you into your future. The transition you're making today from student to graduate is an opportunity to re-establish your priorities, take stock and focus on your future. I hope that your experiences at the University of Wollongong have shaped not only the person you are today and the career you are about to embark on, but also the curiosity, empathy and compassion that you will take with you. As a fellow alumna, I share that pride. The world is changing so quickly, and as we face complex social, political, environmental and economic challenges, I'm confident that as graduates of the University of Wollongong, you are well placed to lead the world forward. With that in mind, I have two pieces of advice for you as you embark upon the next chapter in your journey. The first is what I've learned over my long career that started here in Wollongong, that education can be a catalyst for change. Education has the power to transform not just people's lives, but that of communities and the world. Graduates, you now hold the power to help create a more diverse, inclusive and accessible world of learning for your community. And be sure that you use that power and use your power for good. The second is to always be kind. Kindness cannot be overrated. I believe that if you help someone, you always should. If you can help another person by showing compassion and understanding of circumstances, everyone will be better off. As the first alumna and first female Vice-Chancellor, I have very fond memories of sitting where you are here today. I arrived at the University of Wollongong in the late 70s in a very different time. I was young and just really trying to find my feet. And one of the things that I always recall about my time here is the incredible support that I have received from the University of Wollongong and the community. I'm so proud, in particular as a nurse, to see so many of the graduates here today. My teachers, my family, my peers, and the people who surrounded me were always kind and generous and saw potential in me. Who would have thought, training to be a nurse in the 70s at Wollongong Hospital, that I would end up the Vice-Chancellor of this university? But in life, you'll find the people around you and the support that they give you make a real and lasting impact. So please be open to opportunities and soak in the wisdom around you. So on behalf of the university and the graduating cohort, I'd really like to thank all of those here today and those that are watching from afar who have supported our students in achieving this success. And my particular thanks to the staff of the University of Wollongong, who have really rallied in amazing ways over the last several years. And in fact, this graduation ceremony encapsulates their innovation, capacity, and commitment to our students. So, as graduates of the University of Wollongong, you are now part of a truly global university network. The University of Wollongong delivers programs in our campuses in Dubai, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, and we partner with institutions in China and Singapore. You can feel proud to be part of a university with an outstanding reputation that spans the globe. The completion of your studies at the University of Wollongong makes you one of the most employable graduates in Australia and indeed the world. The success of our graduates is the basis for the university's strong reputation, ranking among the top 1% of universities globally, and we are aiming higher every day. But know this, graduates, you are our greatest achievements. And along with our researchers and planners and all of our partners in the community, you are at the heart of the University of Wollongong's mission to create lasting and positive impact, not just in our region, but around the world. It's this community of like-minded people that has shaped our university to become a world leader for social and economic impact. Together with our partners, we're working to solve the world's biggest questions and striving towards a better quality of life for future generations. Alongside the many challenges that will happen in your lives following graduation today, always makes a connection of the university more important, and I hope this will be lifelong through further studies or just being a proud ambassador and always being a cheerleader for our university. Joining our vibrant global community of more than 168,000 alumni from over 180 countries, you are connected by this shared experience of studying at the University of Wollongong and sharing the values of what makes this great institution and impactful in the world. I really encourage you to stay connected with the university and your fellow graduates. The relationships you have formed during your time here will be invaluable for more years to come. So from one University of Wollongong alumni to the very newest alumni of our family, a big hearty congratulations. It's now time to celebrate. Celebrate your hard work and success and know the world is at your feet. As you set forth in your careers, remember to always be bold, courageous and strong and stay true to your beliefs. Again, my very best wishes and congratulations to all of our graduates. My sincere thanks to their families and friends. May you have a very happy and memorable graduation day. Thank you so much for making us proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. It is now my great pleasure to commence the presentation of the 2019, 2020 and 2021 graduates to our Vice-Chancellor. I would now like to call upon the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health, Senior Professor Eileen McLaughlin, to present the graduates to the Vice-Chancellor for the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health.
Thank you, Professor Farrell. It is my great pleasure to be here celebrating with our graduates today. We are very proud of what you've all achieved, and I wish to convey my personal congratulations to all the graduates. We will now commence the presentation of awards, and I please encourage everybody to recognise their graduates as they cross the stage. Will the graduates who are to be presented with the undergraduate and postgraduate awards from the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health, please stand. Vice-Chancellor and President, I present to you the graduates to receive the awards from the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor and President, I confirm your admission to the awards for which you are qualified.
Thank you. Graduates, please be seated.
Piper Ainsworth. Sophie Ainsworth. Faiza Ajezi. Shara Azari Ali. Taylor May Archer. Paula Azapadi. Kimberly J. Bomforth. Mojdeh Baradazan Hazave. Ekta Baral. Georgia Emily Beer. Manisha Pishwash. Taylor Ann Brooks. Georgia Burt. Bethany Carter. Tanyuratwa Chiripanyanga. Nuchatita Choktong Paibung. Sylvia Cho Yu Chow. Priyanka Shudal. Declan Cleary. Menley Coleman. Holly Crowley. Shanae Cross. Pamela Christine Galang Kuyugan. Chloe Isabel Dayton. Miyaki Dong Tamang. Nue Mi Zhang Zhuang. Kate Elizabeth Emmett. Hayat Fahad. Lauren Jane Ferguson. Naomi Flood. Brianna Forbes. Gabrielle Peter Galvin Staunton. Madeline Kate Gibbs. Sarah Green. Asia Gurung. Subhash Gurung. Ella Hamilton. Kate Henley. Harpreet Singh. Harsimran. Ella Kirsten Hemmings. Talia Hessian. Georgia Hewlett. Brielle Ruth Hill. Ashley Hodgson. Melinda Amy Holden. Brianna Page House. Ye Lu Huang. Sarah Jaber. Morgan Reese Jenkin. Keelan Jenkins. Shayla Jones. Nurvisha KC. Yalala Elizi Kadiele. Sandeep Kaur. Olivia Kavanagh. Ranjita Katka. Anjita Khatri. Mata Kiroti Kirona. Gabrielle Isabella Lekos. Jessica Lang. Lily Lewis. Tanisha Lindsay. Lucinda Hope Lockhart. Xaviera May Yao Yao Madridondo. Sanjuna Mahajan. Nadine Mackey. Alyssa Marie Mamoliti. Jasmine McIntosh. Tiana McKay. Tasha Lee McKenzie. Faye Mellett Knights. Jackie Lynn Mesa. Ashley Myers. Natasha Malloy. Kendra Morgan. Caitlin Mullins. Alicia Neves. Srijana Nepali. Rachel Newing. Kyun Kwong Michelle Nguyen. Sophie Nicol. Georgia Norwell. Lucia Panisi. Tia Parazzolo. Bradley Pavir. Abana Pokaril. Lakshmi Pun Gurung. Chelsea Elizabeth Passer. Jordan Leigh Ralph. Stephanie Elizabeth Roberts. Carla Robertson. Kiara Mandy Robinson. Mariana Raquel Rocha Fernandez. Melina Gail Robers. Zoe Ronsiokis. Cassidy Lynn Dawn Ruiz. Hayley Sini. Rumesa Selvi. Sushmita Shakya. Sarah Shepherd. Bethany Simmons. Rebecca Simpson. Melissa Kate Smiley. Annalie Elizabeth Smith. Hey Man Patricia So. Jasmine Stacy. Sarah Story. Shirley Malia Sawandi. Bibek Tapa. Muna Tapa Ranabat. And Rachel Thomas. Cody Lee Tisdale. Kayla Topham. Bianca Townsend. Lily Adriana Van Duyn. Haley Veyro. Jashan Viapal. Zali Rose Whitaker. Ashley Woodhead. Shuai Shi. Yashkirat Ka. Cherry Ann Acacio. Katie Ann Allison. Madeline Grace Backer. Talia Ann Barringer. Hayley Louise Botskor. Catherine Brooks. Gabrielle Louise Brown. Anna Bernice Buchanan. Alexandra Rose Buick. Remy Cesar. Monisita Chaudhry. Charlotte Patricia Conlon. Abby Coolstock. Michael Coop. Kelly Ann Curran. Laura Del Pero. Jada Lily Doyle Smith. Whitney Ann Driscoll. Sienna Silvestro Farrar. Hannah Lee Faranato. Rachel Louise Ferraro. Indiana Rose Forrest. Lorraine Gabriel. Swastika Gautam. Amand Gumera. Holly Guthrie. Ashlyn Halavatsis. Heidi Hempel. Annie Jane Hawes. Cassie May Hawes. Courtney Erin Hepper. Rebecca Jane Herbert. Olivia Jacobs. Bianca Jimenez. Kiara Johnston. Rebecca Madeline Jokela. Suellen Jane Knight. Basma Melegi. Alexandra Mose. Caitlin Moore. Courtney Page Moran. Jasmine Emily Morrison. Antonina Musamechi. Emily Nels. Diksha Nipal Bandari. Ellen Cherie Noy. Temitokpe Michael Obasa. Charlotte Owen. Nicola Francis Pace. Jessica Pay. Keely Pennell. Isis Hazel Plano. Laura Perseus. Hannah Pry. Finlay Ann Pizarres. Shruti Raja. Taylor Rankin. Jessica Rupper. Emily Grace Rutherford. Corey Summit. Brianna Smith. Olivia Smith. Sweta Subedi. Blake Matthew Sykes. Emily Kate Totunji. Caitlin Tyson. Samantha Vella. Susan Marie Warwick. Megan Jane Westwood. Samantha Jade White. Holly Young. Nicole Hay. Nima Gurung. Rajwinder Kaur. Taylor Sarah Yusuf. Abigail Page Leplaw. Mary Gabrielle Atienza Matriano.
Would Miss Lorraine Kelly please step forward? Vice-Chancellor and President, I take great pleasure in presenting to you the recipient of the 2021 Chancellor Robert Hope Memorial Prize. The Chancellor Robert Hope Memorial Prize is named in honour of the university's first Chancellor. It is the university's most prestigious student prize and is awarded to a student who has made an exceptional contribution to the university's community and the broader community, with consistent outstanding academic performance. It is the only prize awarded directly by the University Council. Miss Lorraine Kelly has demonstrated an outstanding community contribution and leadership attributes, with evidencing consistently high academic results. Lorraine completed the university's Pathway programme before excelling in a Bachelor of Nursing at the university's Bega campus. She achieved an overall weighted average mark, or WAM, of 80. Lorraine is a mature-age student, a single mother to 2 sons, and first in family to study at a university. During her time at the university, Miss Lorraine Kelly has empowered new and prospective students as a mentor for the Pathways programme. She has held leadership positions in the Student Nurses as Professionals Club and represented university on an international clinical placement in Cambodia. During her time in Cambodia, Lorraine worked closely with the Khmer healthcare staff in rural clinics, establishing a health education package for primary school children. This package was so successful, it was later rolled out as a national campaign to promote hand hygiene in Cambodia. During the 2019-2020 bushfires, Lorraine assisted people in crisis within her local community. She created the Eden Area Emergency Information and Support social media site. This site had over 3,000 members at the height of the crisis. Through this group, Lorraine facilitated emergency information, accommodation, food, clothing, and camping supplies to those in need. Lorraine is a strong, resilient woman, a leader and a carer. She's a role model in her regional community, a proud woman of colour who has studied and worked full-time to support her family throughout her degree. Lorraine's academic results, combined with her leadership and initiative, and the engagement she has demonstrated in her community pursuits, have made her a worthy recipient of the Chancellor's Robert Hope Memorial Prize. Vice-Chancellor and President, I present to you Miss Lorraine Kelly.
Congratulations to our graduates this far. So we're going to take a little break now, and we'll be continuing the presentation of awards shortly. For now, I'd like to introduce our musical item for today. It's my great pleasure to introduce Mahalia Barnes, accompanied by Mr. Franco Ragat. Mahalia Barnes has been raised in music her entire life. Her childhood years consisted of a musical diet that included Mahalia Jackson, Ray Charles, Ike and Tina Turner, Aretha Franklin, and Stevie Wonder, all of which helped shape her into a powerhouse soul and blues vocalist. She has also recorded and toured with the likes of Liam Gallagher, Cole Chisel, and Jimmy Barnes. So we're immensely fortunate to have her with us today. Please welcome Mahalia Barnes to perform This Is Me.
I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say. We don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are. But won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. For we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, 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 this is me. Oh, 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 oh. Another round of bullets hits my skin. We'll fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the stars. We are warriors. place for us. Oh, we are glorious. Oh, when the sharpest words want to cut me down, I am gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look how, 'cause here I come, yeah. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, this is me. And you know there's no one not worth fighting for. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Congratulations to all the amazing graduates, and thank you so much for what you're going to do for all of our community.
Thank you, Mahalia and Franco. We've been very fortunate to have Mahalia with us in our graduation ceremonies this week, really uplifting the ceremony with her powerful music and powerful voice, and Franco's really beautiful acoustic accompaniment. So thank you both very much indeed. So we'll now continue with the presentation of the awards. I would now like to call back the Executive Dean for the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health, Senior Professor Eileen McLaughlin, to present the graduates to the Vice-Chancellor for the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health.
Thank you, Professor Farrell. We will now continue with the presentation of the awards.
Daphne Delaney. Amanda Pine. Jeevan Kumar Sharma. Rahul Avikash Lakshman. Little Ruth Andrews. Ashera Agnes Anthony. Shallow Anthony. Mary Benjamin. Sujita Bandari. Bartinder Kaur. Deepti Bhatta. Pratima Bhatta. Pasha Bhattarai. Smita Bista. Gita Budatoki Kantal. Mandila Chowdhury. Rinku Chowdhury. Nisha Chowdhury Taru. Musami Chitrakar. Srijana DC. Kinara Dahal. Shuveksha Dahal. Jaya Tungana. Blessy Dinal. Veshna Francis. Sachita Gairi. Sandhya Gimire. Pardeep Kaur Gill. Melina Giri. Sabitri Giri Tiwari. Punam Gurang. Rachana Gurang. Sangeeta Gurang. Elena Hona. Jisa Vasuveli James. Jaspreet Kaur. Jillian Johnson. Manisha KC. Subarna KC. Anita Kalarikal Sivadasan. Luna Kandul. Lakshmi Katuwal. Anjana Katka. Asha Katka. Sumitra Karal Aryal. Reini Kavas. Manisha Koirala Tiwari. Sunita Koju. Elena Lama. Sumi Lama. Pipana Lamsal. Sonu Lohani. Hang Kyong Ma. Shamila Mahajan. Manju Rani. Anthony Heaven Mendez. Navdeep Kaur. Pavana Niupane. Diksha Parajuli. Punam Pokrail. Seema Paudel. Karuna Paudyal. Manisha Pudasaini. Sumikshia Pudasaini. Muna Ranabat. Asha Rani. Rashmila Ranjit. Rina Raphael. Rajani Shah. Shova Shah. Arati Shrestha. Arpana Shrestha. Rajani Shrestha. Ranjita Shrestha. Usha Shrestha. Sabina Shrestha. Shaini Shrestha. Sonika Shrestha. Annie Sojan. Sonu Suba. Samina Subedi. Mamata Tamang. Santa Tamang. Timpal Tapa. Priyanka Tapa. Tini Thomas. Sabitra Timalsina. Latiza Upreti. Aswati Elsa Varugeza. Vipul Kaur. Sumitra Yonghang. Anu Chetri. Sarah Caroline Benham. Sarala Shrestha.
Vice-Chancellor and President, I present to you from the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health for their bachelor degree, Terensha Ramana. Bim Thapa Magar. Isabella Zaj Akovsky. Vice-Chancellor and President, I present to you from the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health for their master's degrees, Reshma Maharzan. Bahuan Katuwal. Marhandeep Dor. Congratulations to all our graduates. It is now with great pleasure that I announce our doctoral award recipients today. Will the graduates who are to be presented with doctoral awards from the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health please stand? Vice-Chancellor and President, I present to you the doctoral graduates from the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health who, by reason of their thesis and other work at the university, have met the requirements for admission to doctoral degrees.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor and President, I confirm your admission to the doctoral degrees for which you have qualified. Vice-Chancellor and President, I present to you for their doctoral degrees
for their exploration of the experiences of nurses working in Australian small rural hospitals, Dr. Sarah Dimity Smith. For their examination into the use of lithium isotopes to investigate changes in seawater chemistry and continental silicate weathering in the Neoproterozoic, Dr. Holly Louise Taylor.
Good morning. I will now present the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. Will Ms. Kim McKay please stand? Vice-Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present Ms. Kim Coral McKay to you for admission to the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. It is with exceptional leadership, formidable spirit and social conscience that Kim McKay has coordinated the collaborative efforts of millions of everyday citizens, inspiring them to preserve and protect our natural, social and cultural heritage at both the national and international level. As an author, public speaker, marketing and communications advisor, sustainability advocate, businesswoman and environmentalist, Kim has led a life marked by a desire to educate, innovate and enlighten. After obtaining her Bachelor of Arts in Communications, Kim went on to create a worldwide reputation as an environmental crusader, entrepreneur and storyteller. Her commitment to championing positive change began in 1989 as the co-founder of Clean Up Australia and later Clean Up the World. 30 years on, Clean Up is a worldwide organisation influencing Australian environmental laws and operating in over 120 countries. In 2014, Kim was appointed Director of the Australian Museum, making her the first female director in the museum's 192-year history. Kim has led its transformation into one of the world's preeminent natural history and cultural institutions, striving to create the museum Australia wants to see, innovation and relevancy in historical delivery and a truthful portrayal of Australia's narrative, acknowledging the responsibility the institution holds in sharing a true Indigenous perspective. Kim's career success, environmental advocacy and charitable work has not gone unrecognised. She was appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia in 2008, and some of her accolades include the Australian Geographic Lifetime Achievement Award in Conservation and the UTS Sydney Chancellor's Award for Excellence. In 2011, she was named in Australian Financial Review's 100 Women of Influence list and featured in the book The Power of 100, 100 Women Who Have Shaped Australia. Kim was made a Fellow of the Royal Society of New South Wales in 2021 and appointed to the UTS Council in 2022. Vice-Chancellor, Kim's experience and legacy, as well as her passion, drive and tenacity, are an inspiration to us all, to our students, our community and all Indigenous Australians who are studying any degree to become advocates and professional leaders in their fields. Her positive contribution will have a significant impact for future generations. It is for these reasons and many more that Kim is being honoured today. It is a privilege to present Kim Coral McKay, AO, to be admitted as an Honorary Doctor of Science at the University of Wollongong.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor and President, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science Honoris Causa of the University of Wollongong.
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Kim McKay to give the occasional address today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kim McKay.
Thank you so much, Professor Fino. Vice-Chancellor and President, members of the University, graduates, friends and family, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen all, good morning everyone, and what a great morning it is to see these beautiful graduates receive their degrees today. Congratulations to you all. It is truly an honour for me to be at Wollongong to receive this honorary Doctorate of Science and to give the occasional address in my role as Director and CEO of the Australian Museum, an institution steeped in education, the arts and science. Now, as you heard from Professor Frino, when I joined the museum 8 years ago, it was a shock to many that a woman had been appointed to lead Australia's first museum for the first time in almost 200 years. I say it just took them a long time to find me. But to others, it was much more of a shock that a non-scientist had been appointed to the role. And yes, I'm the worst kind of scientist, a social scientist. But now with the conferring of this honorary Doctorate of Science, I'll be able to hold my head high and hope the bonnet doesn't fall off. Thank you, Wollongong University, for this wonderful acknowledgement. It is very gratefully received. Among other things, I'm a science communicator, having honed my skills in media in Australia and the United States at places like the Discovery Channel and National Geographic in Washington, DC. And I actually had recruited a number of staff when I was in Washington at National Geographic. I'm very pleased to say one of them was a Wollongong graduate, and she did very well. I'm someone who's actively created citizen science and volunteer community participation initiatives, as you've heard. And during my long career, I had never thought about being a museum director, but I've always been flexible and open to new opportunities as they've presented themselves. So I'd like to share with you some of the lessons I've learned along the way. There are 5 things which maybe you can remember and take with you today. The first of these is teamwork and collaboration, and how you just can't achieve anything successfully alone. This is now the age of collaboration. Early in my career, I worked on solo around-the-world yacht races in the 80s and 90s. Now, single-handed sailors might be out there alone, but they all have support crews backing them up, people on land who coach them and encourage them to keep going and succeed, providing valuable weather advice, mechanical and health information, among other support. And one of the competitors in the 86-87 solo around-the-world yacht race was former Australian of the Year, the late Ian Kiernan, with whom I co-founded Clean Up Australia a few years later. Ian was really worried about the state of the oceans he saw around the world, and particularly sailing one weekend on his beloved Sydney Harbour, the tide line of plastic on the foreshores. Years earlier, he told me he'd seen a beach cleanup in Hawaii and wondered if it could work here. If we could get a few hundred people out to work together, maybe, just maybe, we could make a difference. I said yes and typed the first letter to the then Minister for Ports in New South Wales, suggesting we organise a community clean-up. About 6 weeks later, a letter came back from, I guess, a series of bureaucrats saying thanks but no thanks, quote, "My department looks after the cleaning of Sydney Harbour." Well, that was the second lesson. If you want to do something, never take no for an answer, and certainly don't ask permission. We pulled together a group of friends and organised that first clean-up of Sydney Harbour on January the 8th, 1989. I still say it was one of the best days of my life, which is pretty sad because it was about garbage. But 40,000 people turned out from all over Greater Sydney and removed 5,000 tonnes of rubbish from Sydney Harbour. Our band of volunteers working together had done something extraordinary. They had helped change the future of Sydney Harbour. It had been used as a garbage dump since white settlement, and now it was on a new course. There was also an unexpected community health issue discovered that day too. It was in the days of the AIDS epidemic, and we picked up 3,000 discarded syringes around the beaches on the harbour foreshore, which eventually led to the creation of the Needle Exchange program in King's Cross. Coincidentally, one of the early community cleanups we organised was here in Wollongong at Lake Illawarra. The local community here pulled 78 cars and 2 buses out of Lake Illawarra. I can still get some spare parts if anyone's interested. But from this activity here, the Clean Up Australia campaign was born. So always work in teams, never take no for an answer or ask for permission. And if you want to change things, the third thing I've learned is that if you want to succeed, you've got to take risks and not be afraid of failing. Just like people around Australia wanted to do clean up, we started to hear from people all over the globe, and the germ of an idea to clean up the world was born. We were soon invited to meet with the head of the United Nations Environment Programme in Nairobi, Kenya, to talk about the idea. Dr. Mustafa Tolba was a legendary international environmentalist, a very imposing man surrounded by guards toting machine guns. On meeting, I realised Dr. Tolba had my proposal for Clean Up the World in his hand, and he'd written all over it in red pen. Not a good start. But after much questioning and discussion, he said he liked the idea and pledged US $100,000 to us as seed funding to get the project up and running. You could imagine that we felt pretty good walking out of that office and coming back to Australia. We'd taken a risk and it had paid off. But arriving back in Sydney, UNEP put some new conditions on us, which is something I've learned as a bureaucratic trick over the years. They said, yes, we'll give you that money we pledged on condition you can raise matching funding. Undaunted, I rang Qantas, spent my own money on the ticket because I was convinced I'd find the funding in the United States. And within a few days, I got on a plane to California. I'd heard about a foundation, the Egbar Foundation, EGBAR, which stood for Everything's Gonna Be All Right. And after an hour or so of meeting with Mr. Egbar, I had the other $100,000 US. So we had money to get the world going, and we had the United Nations Environment Programme's endorsement. And all I'd risked, apart from the risk of failure, was the airfare. Today, Clean Up the World, as Professor Farino said, still operates in communities around the globe and annually involves more than a few million volunteers. We had created a project which was free, open source, open access, everyone welcome, a virtual organisation before the internet was invented. Now, the fourth lesson I want to share with you is it's up to you to change things, that you have the power. There's no use sitting around waiting for someone else to do it. Problems can only be solved, governments voted in or out, and we'll have that chance very soon, plastic reduced and waterways restored, new discoveries made in science, the public educated, or indeed for me now, museums transformed, if you decide to take action. And each of you graduating today is now in a leadership position to change things. Today, through our work at the Australian Museum, I'm not giving up, and we're continuing to try and change things, especially in terms of integrating First Nations knowledge systems with Western science. We have a lot to learn. We've recently launched our Climate Awareness Initiative, which involves new exhibitions like Spark, which we just had, and it's now living online, where we featured 10 Australian inventions designed to solve climate change impacts. Our citizen science project, Frog ID, now has 500,000 frog calls registered and recorded by people just like you via the free app. Go and download it after this, it's great fun. To help save our frogs from the impact of biodiversity loss and climate change. Frogs in Australia, and there are 240 different species that we know of, are the canaries in the coal mine of climate change. They are the indicator species in our country. Now, creating awareness about environmental impact is one thing, but actually getting people to engage, volunteer their time and become hands-on and participate is the key to changing behaviour. I think a lot of environmental management in the future is going to be up to all of you. You are at the coalface of environmental action, whether as educators, scientists, health professionals, and as every success is about timing, to all of you, now is your time. So to recap on the 4 things I've told you about today, always work in teams and collaborate. If you really want to do something, don't take no for an answer or ask permission. You have to take risks to succeed and don't be afraid of failure. And know that you have the power to change things. As the Vice-Chancellor said earlier, use that power for good. The 5th is probably the most important of all that I'll leave with you today. No matter what profession you're in, communicate, communicate, and then communicate more. Every survey of chief executives reveals the one thing they need to prioritise, that they need to do more of to succeed, is to communicate better and then act. While it is the age of collaboration, it is also the age of communication. And I know this is how we'll change things in our communities, and it's certainly how we'll change things for our natural environment. It is up to you to go out there and be the difference that we all need. I'm counting on you. I wish you good luck and good fortune for all that is ahead of you. Congratulations, graduates, and just go for it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. McKay, for that inspirational address. As one social scientist to another, I'd like to acknowledge and thank you for your leadership in bringing science and history to life in Australia. I also think that this message of don't take no for an answer is actually a pretty good darn motto for our students. So thank you. I would now like to call upon Miss Loreen Kelly to give the vote of thanks. It was my privilege to attend the graduation at Bega, presided by our Vice-Chancellor, at which Loreen was awarded a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction. And so it's a great pleasure to see her receive the Robert Hope Prize for 2021. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Loreen Kelly.
Thank you. Vice-Chancellor and President, members of the University, graduates and distinguished guests, thank you for attending this incredibly special day celebrating the graduating classes of 2019, 2020 and 2021. We made it. I wanted to say something far more eloquent than that. I researched high and low for the perfect quote to reflect the time that we've had at university. But how does one find a quote that reflects the sheer courage, willpower, strength and dedication it has taken each and every one of you to get here today? We are the first cohort to graduate amidst a worldwide pandemic. But that's not all. Although it feels like a lifetime ago, we also faced raging bushfires and floods. Communities up and down the coast have faced many challenging times. But you chose to throw a university degree on top of all of that. And against all odds, we made it. We could spend all day talking about the trials and tribulations of undertaking a university degree in this current climate. The tears, the threats of quitting, the sheer frustration of navigating the endless changes to home and university life. But despite this, we made it. And that is something to be incredibly proud of. But we did not come this far alone. While this journey started with the common goal of obtaining a tertiary education, we have learned far more than the curriculum outlines. We've learned about the value of vulnerability, in asking for help, reaching out for support, and working through tough times together. What seems like an impossible task at times was made possible through the networks we have made here at the University of Wollongong and those who have played a supportive role outside of the university. With this in mind, I would like to give a heartfelt thanks to everyone who has been integral to our success. I would like to give thanks to Professor Patricia Davidson, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Wollongong, who recently travelled to my own graduation ceremony at the regional Bega campus. It's an honour and privilege to stand with you again today. As a regional student, I would like to thank the University of Wollongong for their ongoing support of regional campuses like Bega. Regional campuses have been pivotal in removing barriers to education, especially for women like myself, mature-age students who may have felt that they had missed out on the university experience, students who do not have the financial means to move away, people with families and roots in communities. Because of regional campuses, tertiary education is accessible, and our community benefits greatly from the educated professionals entering sectors such as healthcare, teaching and business, to name a few. I would like to give thanks to the wider community for supporting our students, whether you have donated to our many fundraisers, encouraged students to keep up their hard work, or have invited us in for workplace experiences. Additionally, I extend our appreciation to all the community groups and businesses who have provided us with scholarships over the years. Your generosity has had a significant impact on those of us who have been granted scholarships. These scholarships have allowed many of us to continue with our studies with less of a financial strain, particularly in being able to afford the time it takes away from work, family, and home to attend placement. I know personally there were times when I questioned if I could afford to go on placement for my nursing degree due to the immense cost of clinical placement. Because of these generous donors, I was able to finish. To the staff of the University of Wollongong, where would we be without you? From the very beginning, you have not only welcomed us into UOW, but you have empowered us. And for those of us like myself who experience terrible imposter syndrome, you made us feel like we belong. Whether we have connected on campus or online, I want to thank you for the continued support, encouragement, and an always open door. To learning development, I have said multiple times to our own regional learning development lecturer, you are academic angels. Thank you for the guidance through university, as well as each assessment and rubric. Many students enter tertiary education feeling overwhelmed and underprepared to face the expectations of academic writing and research. This service has been fundamental in helping students understand the requirements of university, overcome our fears of failure, and help us set up for academic success. to math support who helped simplify math, my worst subject in high school, who made it fun and easy. My patients are now much safer because of you. To the UOW counsellors, accessibility, inclusion and careers advisors, your services have been an absolute necessity for many of us through the strain of the last 3 years of the COVID pandemic. I know I have personally accessed all three at various times during my degree. Thank you. And finally, to all of our academics, coordinators and tutors, thank you for sharing your knowledge, expertise, and helping us develop into the professionals we are today. Your ability to adapt to the ever-changing conditions that the pandemic brought is commendable. You have not only provided us with the basis of knowledge required to complete our respective degrees, many of you have also been there to laugh with us, comfort us during times of stress, and encourage us to broaden our minds. We are privileged to have had so many incredible, passionate, world-class educators at UOW. To our families and loved ones, you have been on this roller coaster ride with us for many years. And it is not only us who have had to sacrifice to obtain this degree. Perhaps not all have quite understood the journey that we have been on, but you have been there by our sides, sacrificing your time with us and yet supporting us through the whole way. I know my own children and partner have been my biggest cheerleaders, and my own mother, who could not be here today, who came here to watch my children so I could go on clinical placement at the start of 2020, who then became locked out with hard borders from her home country of Tonga, away from her husband and her farm, for 2 years. For many of us, this journey has required the support and sacrifice of many. And finally, to the science, medicine and health cohort. Many of you started out as strangers and quickly built a bond and friendship that I'm sure will span many more years to come, if not a lifetime. My own nursing cohort, my classmates, my support team, my counsellors, my friends. I cannot overstate how incredibly honoured I am to have been on this journey with all of you. Some have said that I should have done this degree many years ago, and perhaps I should have, but I believe that everything happens in its own time, and I genuinely believe one of the greatest factors in my success was being surrounded by the right people at the right time. I hope each one of you take the time to reflect on this momentous occasion and what it has personally taken for you to get here. Each one of you are phenomenal human beings. Each one of you with your own gift to give to the world. Given the circumstances, to have completed your respective degrees takes drive, tenacity, passion, curiosity, and courageousness. Without doubt, this experience has also developed your strength, resilience, and capability. You will all truly be an asset to whatever field you choose to work in. Today, we officially leave this journey and embark on a new one. Into our respective careers, I would like to say sincerely, it has been an honour and a privilege to stand before you today as I ask everyone to please join me in congratulating the graduating classes of 2019, 2020 and 2021.
Thank you, Loreen, for a vote of thanks that's so generous in spirit. So, graduates, families, friends, we are near the end of our ceremony today. I'd just like to point out that where you were sitting just last week were 3 basketball courts. There has been a monumental team effort across the entire university to make this graduation ceremony possible. So I'd like to acknowledge and thank staff across the entire university who leaned in to deliver this graduation, and also to recognise and thank students and staff who volunteered their time today to help us with the ceremony. So I'll be no surprise for you all to know that we are just so immensely proud of our graduates. You've heard today, most particularly I think Loreen really brought this home, just how challenging it has been for our students. And I'm sure many families know this because you've been supporting them on this journey. We want to shout from the rooftops to celebrate today, except we'd probably get a fine for creating a public nuisance. So we've done the next best thing. We've lit up the Wollongong Lighthouse to send a big signal of how delighted we are with graduation. And so I'd encourage you to go and check it out. Might provide a good social media backdrop for your celebratory photographs. For now, though, what we'd like to do is share with you our graduation video. We hope this video will encourage you to reflect on the infinite moments that have led to where you are sitting today.
Everything we've done has led towards today. But graduation seems singular. After all, it's one day, one degree, one end and one beginning. Think about it this way though. If we divide today by 4 years,
or 5 years,
or 3 years, or 8 years,
the equation becomes clearer. Because today isn't just an event or a graduation or a moment of change. It's what we've created through 24 subjects.
11 all-nighters.
357 books read.
54 5,000-word essays.
40 monologues critiqued.
154 films watched.
And 4 films made. Let's be real though. Our experience is way bigger than just the classroom. You've got to factor in
665 hypotheses.
6 heated dramas.
2 semesters abroad. 5 new cultures experienced.
12 concerts attended.
843 waves ridden.
169 hours lounging around.
17 dance parties.
2 major heartbreaks.
And more lifelong friendships than we can count.
When we take those experiences, the long days, late nights and early mornings into the equation, we realise that graduation at the University of Wollongong isn't just some singular thing.
That it's a transition from finding our purpose
to changing our world with the purpose we found. That our passport to the future has been stamped
with the mark of a globally respected education.
And most importantly, we realise the moments that led up to this are
a tapestry,
a symphony,
an equation,
a 65,000-year-old history.
We realise that though today is a single moment, graduation is much bigger than any one day. Because, like an algorithm made up of bits of code,
or a building built from many bricks,
or a community built from many different people, today is the result of our
experiments,
experiences,
tests,
trials,
and victories.
So that's what we celebrate today. Not the cap, not the gown, but the infinite number of moments we shared at the University of Wollongong.
Before we close, I'd like you to join me again in congratulating our graduates. Would the graduates remain seated while the rest of the audience and the academic processions please stand? Now let us give our graduates a warm round of applause. Congratulations, and boy, haven't we been lucky. Please be seated. How lucky have we been with the weather after the last 3 months? So we would like to invite you to join us under the marquee outside behind the stadium for light refreshments and to be able to congratulate our graduates. There's many opportunities for photos, and as Professor Thurl mentioned, please venture down to Wollongong Harbour after dark and just see the lighthouse lit up in our colours. As we exit, our Aboriginal community leaders will lead the academic procession, followed by the graduates and then our VIPs. Guests, please remain patient and in your seats, as the ushers will be giving you instructions on how to exit the venue. Please take direction from our ushers as you will be exiting row by row. I now declare this ceremony closed, and once again, congratulations to our graduates.